Hey guys, welcome back to another week of e-commerce marketing chats with myself and Charles and Jimmy, of course. Jimmy, what's going on, mate?
Guys, welcome back to another week of Ecom. I was going to tell you this before the call, Charles, but I wanted to see kind of your in-call reaction. So, one of my clients that I used to work with kind of early on, great team, great founders. The guys that run the business are like really good operators. Basically, bootstrapped the company from 30K, and yeah, I was kind of working with them at the point where they were kind of doing between I'd say like 30 to 90K a month. Just seen kind of latest reports from the developer that I actually referred them to back in like 5 years ago. And yeah, those guys have just crossed like a nine-figure e-commerce business. So
Right.
yeah, not even seven or eight, like cross the nine-figure mark, which is amazing. Like, and for me to it's been good for me to kind of see those traits in the guys when I was working them at the start point and how they operated and the decisions that they made early on and being like a being like a very kind of small part of their whole story. Like I'm talking very, very small part. So probably worked with them for I don't know, it must have been just under a year, I think, when they were starting off. But yeah, they got to a point where they wanted a full-size agency to manage like the influencers that they were working with and a few additional things that I didn't have the capacity to offer. Like I was Google Ads and that was kind of it. And but yeah, had really good strategic chats with them very, very early on. Yeah, I had a good vibe about them from the start, and just to kind of see them grow. So they've hit that nine-figure mark over the last 5 years. They started just after COVID. Um, so yeah, to kind of see that grow and kind of become fruitful the way that it has is yeah, good news story in e-commerce this week. So I just wanted to share that uplifting story, give some people some hope out there that are going out there trying to build their e-commerce dream and make it happen. But yeah, there's some phenomenal stories out there, and that's definitely one of them.
For sure, for sure. Did you pick up any? I know it's easy to look back, but did you pick up any kind of character traits that the founders had that you thought, well, you know what, these guys are going to go somewhere?
Definitely. And I see it in some of my clients now too, especially the successful ones. One, quick to make decisions, no BS, and they know their numbers. This particular company that hit this nine figure, I'd say they uh, they kind of chopped and changed agencies quite regularly. So I think they chopped and changed until they reach a certain point, and then they would change, and then they'd reach a certain point again, and they'd swap again. That I think can work for and against you. In their case, it
Mm,
worked really well. They were kind of getting the best knowledge of high operators, and I feel like they never went kind of backwards. Like they they did go to a full service agency that I wouldn't have. Like I said, probably recommend that you guys don't go there. But at that stage, they were learning when I was speaking, because I was still speaking to them at this point quite regularly. They learned a lot about meta ads, which really helped them grow. So, but they didn't stay there very long. And they got to the point where they bought the talent in house for a lot of things. They still, I think, working with a different Google e-commerce agency at the moment, like a large team quite agency, but I think when you're spending as much as they are, it's probably beneficial to have like I think they're easily spending over $500,000 a month on ads. So, um, but yeah, character traits, no BS, direct, wanted to know exactly how everything worked and why, knew their numbers, and if something wasn't working, they pivoted quickly. They didn't wait for months or results. Like if this isn't working, they either swapped whoever was managing that particular thing for them, or they just cut it completely and focus on something else. So yeah, I think quick decisions. They made a lot of good decisions, I felt too. And they put in the work. They're in the factory, like um, filling up their products and packaging them all themselves at the start. Like they literally bootstrapped it from 30K to nine figure plus e-commerce business now, which is insane.
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about like switching agencies. Like you said, that can go for you, and
Yeah,
that
it
can
can go
equally
two
go
ways,
against you.
definitely. Yeah, I agree.
What you said, what you mentioned about like they were quick to learn. They probably what they did. They spun. You know, they're almost a sponge when they hired people, found out what it is that worked, and then were able to fill the gaps if they
Yeah.
felt that that agency weren't performing, and make the switch.
I
Yeah.
think so too, and
Uh,
I think they worked out. I think they worked out the imagery and the creative side was the most important stuff, like the visual stuff for them, which is why I still think they're with a Google Ads agency and not bring that in-house. Whereas they bought a lot of the design and the Facebook ads kind of in-house. They built a massive community on Facebook too, so they're one of the e-commerce brands that actually own like a huge Facebook group. But yeah, every time I kind of use their site as a reference point in terms of what's coming out, and like I checked it a couple of weeks ago, and they had the QR code that you could scan to download the app onto your phone to make purchases on the e-commerce store directly from your phone. They've got all the little add-on widgets. They've just done they've just done the basic of everything, but just done it really well. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Hormozi, like Alex Hormozi rollout for the people that saw it, like his $100 million offer. Like everything he did was like that webinar. It was like a sales webinar, and he just had slightly different spin on it, but he just executed like phenomenally. He did all the basic things phenomenally, and I think the best e-commerce stores do the same. They get everything that needs to be done on that basic level, but they just execute it at such a high level. Um, there's no silver bullet. There's no special trick. There's just attracting your audience, getting the sales, and doing everything at either elite level or a subpar level. And I feel like that's the difference between some of these enormous brands and some of these smaller brands sometimes.
yeah, for sure. And I think probably the only biggest difference talking about Hormozi is, you know, even if someone had replicated his strategy exactly, it wouldn't have been as successful purely because he's built on such a strong brand. He's created so much goodwill in the market that when it did come time to actually present an offer, he was able to,
But
create so
I
much
think that's part of his basic strategy that he did really well. So, and like that's what
yes.
he preaches everywhere. He's like, give everything away from free, build an audience, build a reputation. So I feel like that part is the basic part of his strategy that he just does phenomenally. And
Yeah.
I don't feel that he doesn't teach anything that he's not doing. Like he just says, hey, this is exactly what I did. This is how I got there. But hardly anyone's got the discipline and consistency to do what he did early on. The part that people definitely won't be able to replicate a lot of the time is kind of the backstory and the struggles that he had. Like he really put himself out there. He was sleeping in gyms for a while too. So he had a phenomenal backstory about the struggles that he went through to kind of rise to where he's at now. So I actually found out the other day too, which was funny. Me and Hormozi are the same age and have the exact same birthday. So that was quite
Oh
funny.
well, interesting. There you go.
We enter the world on the same day. I thought that was funny.
There you go. There you go.
But
Good stuff.
yeah, in terms of the e-commerce stuff, like just really nailing the basics, and yeah, doing it at a really kind of high level. So yeah.
Yeah, it's consistency at the end of the day, isn't it? I mean, I think that's you could apply that to everything. I always apply that to to SEO. I I did one of my Shopify SEO health checks the other week, and guy got back to me and he was really thankful for what I put together. And I said, look, you're the two things that typically where brands fail are A, the right strategy, and B, being consistent. And usually it's B, where they fall. It's not typically they've got the worst strategy. It's actually often the strategy is not bad. It's just the fact they need to stay consistent with it over a long enough period of time to see the results. Um, and that's where most people fail.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too many people are complacent with the results. Like for example, say a business is at 50K a month and the owners are happy with that. Like there's no ambition to like try out the new things and grow rapidly. I think if you're at that same revenue mark for more than 6 months, like something's wrong. Like not wrong, but you're not you're not compounding the effects of your efforts, basically. You're basically plateauing, and the only way the only place usually to go after like a long steady plateau is like a slight decrease, like decline, after a period of time. So I think a lot of people that are listening to this and have like maintained the same results for a long period of time, like my recommendation would be to mix it up and try to get to that elite level because you probably like I even some clients that I work with, like I only manage one part, the Google Ads, but some of them I can see that they're sitting on an absolute kind of gold mine and just don't either have the skills to be able to execute to take it to where it needs to go, or they just don't know what they actually need to do. So it's just yes, if you've been in a plateau for a long period of time, start chatting to chat to a whole bunch of e-commerce coaches and just see what you're missing or where you can go or where your opportunities are. Start putting some new ideas in your head to get to the place that you may want to potentially take that business in the future. So I think yeah, I think it's a if you've been and for this business that's just done 9 figures, they 100% did not fall in that category of way like plateauing ever. And if they plateaued for longer than a couple of weeks, there was drastic kind of change ups. So yeah, and you're right though, the massive change ups from agency can work for and against you. Um, but yeah, that's where it pays to kind of educate yourself a lot on the marketing side so you can make those good decisions. The guy that I
Yeah.
was working directly with, um that now 9 figure e-commerce business, like he was phenomenal. And you're right, Charles, he was a sponge. Like everything I said, he just took it on board, implemented. Like if we just had a call and I was like, "Hey, you should do this," he would message me like an hour later. Sweet, just set all that up. I'm like, "What already today?" He's like, "Yeah, all done." So um, I'm super stoked for them. The guy that the three guys that own it, that bootstrapped it from 30K, all legends. So I'm super stoked for them and where they've reached. And yeah, I think it should be a lesson for a lot of e-commerce businesses that are plateauing. Like start to start to change things up, start to test more, start to see what's working, especially coming into this Black Friday period. Like you should really be preparing to make November your biggest month in e-commerce like ever for the duration of the business. That's what you should be aiming for. There's no reason that you can't make this coming November your biggest revenue month ever.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. An amazing success story. Um, I reckon we could get him on the channel at some point, Jimmy.
Oh, I haven't
I'm
spoken
not
to
sure
him
that.
in a couple of years. I think we actually had a really good relationship. I feel like if I reached out and said, "Hey, can we do like a 20-minute chat on like how you guys got to where you are?" He might be open to it, but he's a real kind of underground kind of character. Like you wouldn't
Okay. Yeah. It's just.
unless you knew to kind of look for this guy or look him up. Like he's not one of these founders that kind of goes and sprouts their kind of success everywhere. And
Yeah.
probably potentially is it's three guys running a product that's sold to primarily a female audience. So I think that they kind of do keep a bit under underground a little bit, but yeah, even though they are kind of not flashy in your face, not that type, they're serious operators.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair play. Yeah. Good stuff. Talking about Black Friday then, Jimmy, have you been getting prepared with your clients over the last, couple of weeks or having
To be,
those conversations yet?
to be honest, not really. It's just kind of been floating the ideas around what's going to be happening around. It's basically like, hey, let's catch up like in 2 weeks and let's kind of start structuring how the email campaigns are going to work, like what promotions we're going to run. I think one of the most important things for Black Friday is figuring out what promotion or sale you actually want to run, and whether you're breaking that up into like some different collections every week, what the main sale is, what the follow-up sale is post Black Friday. So I think the main thing for Black Friday is kind of to work out the offers that you want to run and where they fit into the calendar, I guess. So I think one of the most frustrating things that I get from even brands that I like is you buy something from their Black Friday sale and then they have a bigger one at a slightly later point in time. Like they might launch their Black Friday sale, but then on the actual Black Friday day, it's like an extra 10% off from what you would have paid. Like I don't know about the majority of the audience, but when I see that, like it pisses me off. So, um,
No, I'd be the same. I think for me also, like, I don't have necessarily have the data to. There must be a reason why they do it, but when you see a company and they've got, it's like Black Friday month, the whole month is Black Friday, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe that works. Maybe there's a reason
I
why they
think that
do.
works well for some businesses, definitely. What I will say on the ones that, like, we do offer smaller discounts before Black Friday, but when we send them out, we let people know that the sale on Black Friday will be larger. This is a small sale and a chance to get the stock before it sells out, basically on
Yeah,
the Black Friday day. So I think you can do it. You can have a pre-sale that's smaller than the actual Black Friday. Just like keep your audience informed. Like don't make them think this is the final sale and then them be in the dark when it comes to Black Friday. Just let them know, hey, we're having a smaller pre Black Friday sale like this week. It's a chance to get in at a slightly reduced discount, but it just means that you won't miss out on the stock running out of like selling out on Black Friday. So I think that's a fair trade-off, and I'd be happy with that. So
yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of different. I think maybe in a future, maybe in like 2 or 3 weeks, we can actually just go through like a massive checklist of the types of different sales that either some of our clients are considering running or that they may be able to explore or think about running themselves. So I think that might be a good one because a lot of people will just be like, oh, we'll just do 20% off the whole store on Black Friday. Like, the follow up for Black Friday is so important because you need to carry that momentum into the Christmas buying period as well. It's why that whole period is so busy. People think, oh, Black Friday's this weekend, we'll just run a sale that weekend. A lot of my clients will be doing Black Friday for the whole of November and then having a strategy to roll into Christmas too.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Makes sense. Similar with some of my clients, they they don't always do the whole month, but they certainly do a decent chunk of that period leading up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, after Cyber Monday as well, and then obviously start with some of the Christmas sales. But I've just was setting up some push note push notifications for one of my clients in the US because they've just had basically Labor Day.
Yeah, okay.
That's another part of
I,
sale that
if you
was
did you get a during that period, did you get an uptick of subscribers on the push notification side, or was it relatively stable?
relatively stable, but
Okay.
I mean, it's yeah, it's still been that one channel that I've been super impressed and keep harping on about. Like they're now at this particular client, they've made an additional $112,000. I think 60,000 of that is just in automation setups alone. Um, and nearly 18,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
So
okay.
obviously and this is based on a site that's getting tens of thousands of, if not sometimes hundreds of thousands of clicks a month. So just for some context there, like if you're just kind of starting out, I wouldn't be expecting those numbers. But I think if you're an established Shopify store and you're not utilizing push notifications, you're certainly leaving money on the table.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I think
so
I know last year I sent out an email to all my clients to get it set up. Pretty much now. I actually sent it last year, I think in September. So it's probably a good it's probably a good thing to for me to go over again and send that email out to the clients that I've taken on since last year that I didn't have over that period. So yeah, no, that's a
for
good
sure.
shout. I might get that set up. But yeah, push notifications. Anyone that's listening, get it installed. Hit Charles up in the group. He's got an actual guide that guides you through the whole setup, kind of best practice as well. So just send Charles through your store name, and he'll send you through basically a guide to set up the whole push notification thing on your own site.
Yeah, no, it's super simple as well. It takes literally under 5 minutes if you've got a Shopify store. So, yeah, it's kind of no excuses there to get going. I'll give you that guy for free, and um, yeah, really helpful. And I've added in a few things where to kind of get you started and give you some context and a case study to kind of show you what exactly I did when setting it up.
Yeah, perfect. And I think that's all people need, basically. Especially like I use it a lot for the automations. I'd say I've dropped off a little bit on sending the campaigns. I always send a campaign when we have a massive sale, but I probably could be doing it like once a month, and um,
Yeah, I mean, I
I'm
was the
not.
same.
So
I was the same with, so really, actually, I was doing this with one client, which I'm not actually contracted to do
yeah,
any push notifications. It was just something as an added value
add-on
thing that
bonus.
I
Yeah,
wanted to do. Yeah, and this was actually something that Jimmy brought to my attention last year. So I just was trying it as an experiment, um, and so it's been running in the background. The last couple of months, I've not been actively creating any sales campaigns for them. But like you said, really, when there's a big sales period, then I'll set some up for them. But yeah, we'll certainly be doing some for Black Friday and building out a bit of a strategy leading up to that period. Um,
yeah, it's a
because yeah,
no-brainer. I mean,
it's
especially with the amount of
yeah.
notifications and things people will be getting over that period of time. One that goes to the device that they signed up on your website with is usually a pretty strong notification and kind of just a good reminder. And to, I think it's important too, just to kind of remind people of your brand coming up to that sales period. Because I know I kind of make a list of products or brands that I'm actually interested in leading into Black Friday. And then when the sales come, I do a lot of my Christmas shopping. I do like any kind of personal gadgets or things or tech stuff that I want. Like I will get it over that period of time too. So yeah, I'm a sucker for a deal. I always have been. I don't know why a lot of the time. I think I love the actual finding the deal more than buying it. It's like, oh, the just the thrill of finding a good deal. But yeah, Black Friday is the perfect time to go out deal hunting during that period. So yeah, any kind of channels that you can add, additional channels during that period. For one of my clients, we've just completely revamped their email flow system. So that'll be good to like get the runs on the board now, and then um, in come Black Friday, I can really see that kind of cashing in, and I can tell it's already 10 times better than what we had. So the the welcome flow after the last 4 days has done more revenue than it did the last 2 months. So um yeah, like your emails are so important. We just got the whole lot kind of rebranded. They look better. the flows are set up better, the triggers are more efficient. It's just everything about it is cleaner and is going to have a really good effect long term. And yeah, if you've listened to this show before, everyone knows that I still think email is one of the most important components for an e-commerce store, even being on the Google Ads side. I think it's probably the most important thing for an established e-commerce store. I think if you're starting out, like your email's not gonna have that much pull because you don't have a whole bunch of subscribers yet. But once you start building that out, it's just gonna kind of compound the effect that that email list is going to have on your overall revenue as you continue to grow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest thing is you're effectively you own that list versus,
Yeah,
SEO, Google Ads, which are great for getting traction and attention and traffic, but equally, if you stop uh, those channels, that that visibility soon dries up, doesn't it? So,
yeah.
yeah,
I
email
think you
soup
need those channels to kind of build your email.
for
They're
sure.
almost as much as you're pushing through for the sales. Like for example, if you're pushing through to the sales on Google or Meta and you're like converting at 3%, that's great. But if your pop up is doing its job on its website, that should be converting at like around 10%. So you just think all the traffic that you're sending from all these marketing channels to your website, if you can get like 10% of them to sign up for your email list, then yeah, you're gonna be doing pretty well and have a decent sized list that you can leverage for a really long period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things actually we're talking about kind of email lists, Black Friday. So I last year for one of my clients, basically we set up dedicated Black Friday and Cyber Monday landing pages for their
Yeah,
sales, and something that they used to do, which I gave them advice against, was they used to just create a page and effectively once the sales in finished,
yeah,
delete
get
it,
rid of it. Yeah.
and obviously you lose that SEO
Mm.
equity and all those potential rankings. So what I said to them is, okay, let's once you've once the sale has ended, let's create a kind of coming soon, or Black Friday is now ended. Keep that page live with the exact URL, and then have an area where you can capture their email, so that once this year comes around, you've still got that page live, you've still got that page showing up in search. And then when people start to search for Black Friday deals again, the likelihood is that page is going to be at the top of Google versus your competitors that are just building out their pages.
I agree.
Um,
It's a really smart
yeah.
move. I think
So
the if you are doing it late, one little hack you can do is to work with your like paid media buyer and get them to kind of hammer the Black Friday page in October, with paid ads, trying to get people to sign up for your email list. Um, I've
that's a good idea,
spoken
actually.
I've
That's a very
I've spoken about this previously, but I've tested a lot of brand new sites, one without paid ads and one with paid ads. They always rank higher organically when you're running paid ads to it. I don't think they're ranking higher because you're running paid ads. They're ranking higher because you're getting more traffic to give them the data points they need to be able to rank that site. So if you started two um, identical sites, I think I'll put it this way: if you were able to generate the same amount of traffic from a PR article, for example, if they had the same amount of traffic, I think they would rank similarly. But usually, when you've got a brand new site, it takes a little while just to get your name out there a bit and build that traffic. Whereas if you're just paying for it straight to the site and it's quality traffic coming to your site, it gives Google kind of all those ranking data factors, all those data points that it needs to be able to decide where it's going to rank your site organically. So people always say that, oh, if I'll rank higher if I spend money on ads. It's not that you'll rank higher. It's that like if you already have a substantial amount of traffic, adding paid ads to that is not going to affect your ranking. It will, in my experience, from a brand new site. It will
yeah,
help
that
it
makes
to
sense.
rank faster.
Yeah, I can see that because Google are looking at things in terms of ranking signals. They're looking at things like the time on the page,
Mm,
bounce rate, and the fact that you're sending them paid traffic. It's giving Google an indication. Whereas if you're starting from scratch, the likelihood is you're not ranking at all. Therefore, you're not getting any clicks on that particular page.
exactly,
So
exactly right.
Google's got no data to go on. Yeah, that sounds yeah, and I think that could potentially work with even established stores. Maybe that page for whatever reason is not is fresh and it's brand new and it's not ranking. I think that hack could even work there as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, oh, it's worth a try. I kind of got some ideas just floating around in my head for clients that I haven't tried that with yet. That I might, just because I've got some of my clients have some really good blog posts that I'd like to get some additional exposure to. So sometimes a good way to get additional exposure to blog posts is to put a site link in your branded search ads. So if someone searches your brand, one of the site links might be to like a really interesting article about one of your products or something that you've blogged about. I think that can be a good way to drive additional traffic without having to directly send people to the blog article. You're kind of presenting your brand, and then if people are interested in that, they'll see it in the site link and click through naturally. That's one way to
Definitely.
do it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity to uh, get your page ranking, like you said, Charles, before Black Friday. And I think, like I definitely do that. Uh, I like the um, I like the roundup articles that some publications do about all the Black Friday deals in certain kind of categories. So it might be all the businesses in Australia that are running Black Friday sales on tech, or all the businesses in Australia that are running Black Friday deals on supplements. You could almost um, you could almost create your own list that would go viral, but just put your own business at the top for the category that you wanted to do. So, I mean, you would have to mention your competitors, but it might even help. Like if you're running a better offer than your competitors, and that article's ranking for people searching for it, and it ranks for a competitor's search term, and then they go to the article, and your business is up the top with a better offer than what um, the competitor is offering, you might be able to snipe some traffic from your competitors that way too.
Would you, in that case, would you put it on your domain though? Or
Yeah.
would you? Because yeah, okay. It's interesting. It would be. I don't know how well that works. I'd imagine people would click on it because if it's a good article, it's whether that actually because obviously
Carries the
if you're showing
authority
yourself,
with your
yeah, if
yeah.
you're showing yourself as number one on
Yeah,
your own
you
domain,
have to you
people get
have to
there's
if
an
you're putting
element.
it on your site still. Like you can't put a competitor above you on your own site, but I know what you mean.
Obviously, yeah,
But if
yeah,
you've got a digital like we spoke to Chris from Linkify last week, like if you've got a really good digital PR agency, and if a journalist is reaching out, hey, we're looking for Black Friday sales in this particular category. Do you have any? If you already had an article that you could send through to them to use and just have your business as number one, that'd be a really solid get as well. And then
yeah, for
just
sure.
no follow all your competitors' links in the article.
Yeah, although what Chris was saying, wasn't he? No follow is actually does have
Mhm.
some ranking juice still, which
Yeah, and he
I
was talking
found
about even
found to be the case.
brand mentions in general too.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think anywhere you can get your brand out there at the moment, it's going to have an impact, especially with those AI crawlers that are floating out there at the moment.
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. What else has been on your radar last week, Jimmy? What's been happening in your world?
I've been doing a lot of coaching. So I did about 12 coaching calls this week, which has been great. But I've been in this community now since I think I started about halfway through July. So what's that, like a month and a half I've been in there, and I'm starting to see like the students that book in regularly for a coaching call, starting to see some really kind of positive results from them. Now they're getting their head around the whole strategy, they're implementing, and yeah, some of them are like really happy. So one particular that I'm thinking of, like when they've been losing money for about 4 months. They're at a return on ad spend of like I mean, point 0.7. So under one, which means you're spending more than what you're making. And last month, after like a month and a half of working with them, they're at like a 5.7. So yeah, they're stoked. Yeah, it was a big turnaround. They're stoked. So and another one too, I've had like some pretty phenomenal results as well. It's just good. Like it feels, I think I came from a background where I started working in a family run business, and the money that they were putting in advertising, it was, they needed to make it work type thing. Like it's not
Yeah.
like these big companies that can just have a budget and splash it on anything. It's like, hey, this is our like marketing budget for Google. Like we need to make it work. And I think the early days, that's where I kind of saw agencies take advantage. I've spoken about this previously, but I was working in house for a company that uh, rented out appliances. And when I really dived into the Google ads, I found that around 90% of the search traffic was for car rentals, and they didn't even offer car rentals. So yeah, I love that story because we were able to take their cost per acquisition from $129 to $12.70 in the space of 2 weeks, just by taking out irrelevant traffic. And it had a pretty profound impact on their business. Like you're basically 10xing the amount of leads on the budget that they've got. And the impact that that can have on like a small or family owned business is huge. So usually when usually when I go into these coaching calls, it's a usually a business owner that's doing a lot of it themselves. So they don't have that big team. They're kind of in the weeds running every part of their business. So to be able to sit down with them on, a one-on-one coaching call and just work through the problems that they're facing, and give them some quality advice to make the changes that they need to make. It's rewarding for me, and I actually really enjoy it. So yeah, I'm hoping to see some really good success stories come out of this community just from the coaching calls. And yeah, it's kind of I think we all get imposter syndrome at some point, but it's like really solidified to me like how much I've actually learned over the last kind of I started in around 2013, so what, like 12 years of doing Google Ads. I there hasn't been There's been a lot of students that haven't been able to solve the problems that they've had for like 5, 6 months. They've spoken to a lot of people about it. I've come in and been like, oh yeah, I've seen this a lot of times. This is how you fix it, and like fixed it, in the space of 5 minutes. And seeing how grateful those people are too, like it makes it worth it. Like as long as I'm enjoying coaching and working with good people, I'll continue to do it within that community for sure.
Yeah, I think it just shows how important it is ideally to, hire someone who's experienced, because it doesn't mean necessarily that their skill set may be any better, but they've probably seen more scenarios, especially more, things where they're a bit more complex, they're struggling to figure out, they're going to be able to pinpoint, i.e., Jimmy's going to be able to pinpoint that versus someone that's just, been doing Google Ads for a year and is effectively learning on the job.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't
so
and
yeah,
like I don't have a
it's
problem with that learning on the job, because I mean that's where I started. I was working in house for a company, and I was basically learning off their dollar. They were paying me a wage to run their ads, and I'd never done it before. So I mean they took a leap of faith on me, but it was funny because I actually won like a national wide marketing competition, and then got asked to come in and help this family run business that I knew beforehand with their marketing. And yeah, there's like, sold as joining their marketing department. When I got there, I was the only one in the marketing department. Agencies were running everything, and there wasn't much oversight from anyone in the business. So there was just agencies either doing nothing or, on the retainer, and like no one would be contacting them monthly. If you don't do those monthly calls with your agency, or at least contact them regularly, keep them in the loop. I can guarantee you're falling low on their priority list in terms of if they're working with a bunch of clients. I can guarantee you that the clients that are making the regular calls, wanting to grow, feeding you additional information in regular contact, they're getting the priority over kind of the clients that aren't. It's what's that saying? Like the what is it? The squeaky wheel gets the I don't even know, but it's a squeaky wheel gets the oil or something like that. It's more about, hey, like speak up, make yourself known because you'll get greater attention from um the people that you're working with, and you also build a better working relationship with them, I find too. And you can feed them
Yeah,
information that they don't know about the business. I find that the most useful part about talking to business owners at least monthly about their accounts and their business. Like, hey, what's going on? What are you working on? Like, what do we need to focus on? So, yeah, I think that's it's an important thing to keep in contact with anyone that's running any part of your marketing.
yeah, no, absolutely. It sounds like a similar story to myself, Jimmy, in terms of work, working in house for a company, learning on the job. I think I blagged myself an interview and got the job as a digital marketing officer. And then I think the only platform that I was like, yeah, I use Facebook. Yeah, but because it was such a dinosaur company,
Yeah.
and I was getting interviewed by two gentlemen that were probably three times my age at the time. I think they thought, well, he's a young guy. He must know what he's talking
Yeah.
about.
You just need to know
Didn't
more
have
than
a.
them at the time, don't you?
Well, that's the thing. They say, don't they? An expert is someone that only knows more than the other
Yeah,
person. Maybe
they're
I don't.
one class ahead. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
think like I learned like because I was doing everything. I was doing their Facebook, their Bing ads, their emails, their SMS marketing, their like anything related to marketing. Like I was doing, which is why I love Google. Like I've done a bit of everything in marketing, apart from. I haven't done much TikTok yet, so but like I was in house before TikTok existed, so I was like, but I haven't done a lot of TikTok yet. I would like to experiment with it, especially with the rise of TikTok Shop coming through.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's probably an area that I haven't played enough in. I've more been sticking to my Google roots at the moment, and I'm more interested in the AI learning models and what's coming for those. So I think that's kind of where my focus is at the moment. Potentially getting into offering email marketing as well. I haven't decided on that one yet, and I know I'd have to build a team out to offer it because I am not your go-to guy for design, including email design. As Charles
I
knows,
think
he
it's
does all the design and branding for anything that comes out from e-commerce marketing community or Shopify marketing secrets. Anything that looks good on either of those, Charles has sorted out.
well, you got to play to your strengths. So you got to know what you're good at and what to outsource. That's the key.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
I think there's so many different channels. Like I'm the same. I think the natural progression from what I'm doing is SEO evolving into AI search. That's kind of where I'm kind of focusing my attention on, and um,
Uh,
especially when you are a smaller operation, I think it makes more sense to specialize versus the offering multiple services.
I think the almost it looks like the acronym for like AI search at the moment, like SEO, for example, it looks like it's going to go toward. It looks like GEO is going to get the chocolates. I've seen that popping up more than anything else at the moment. So it looks like GEO might take the chocolates or what's it called, generative engine
Yeah, engine
optimization.
optimize. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I just call it. I think it's just all under the umbrella of AI search. I think,
Yeah.
arguably you could, really actually the bulk of, out of these platforms, if you take Google out of the picture, from what I'm seeing in the data, not 95 to 99% is coming from ChatGPT.
Mm.
From what I'm seeing in my clients' dashboards and from kind of looking at what other SEOs are seeing as well. But
I don't know
Um,
why, and we discussed this the other week too, but
yeah, I was gonna say
DuckDuckGo seems to be making a little bit of a resurgence for some of my clients, and I have no idea why. So, yeah, I've noticed it across a couple of accounts now. Like DuckDuckGo is consistently kind of hovering around that top 6 to 7 mark now. So,
interesting.
Even above Bing in a lot of cases.
Yeah, maybe there's a concern on because that, like I said, I think that was a privacy browser. That was people were using that as an alternative to Chrome because they were worried about security. Um,
Maybe there's a
I don't know.
device or maybe there's a device or something that's like adopted it as its default browser or something. I don't know, but I've definitely seen. I probably should ask ChatGPT, hey, why has there been a resurgence in DuckDuckGo's search volume? Like, is there a partnership I'm not aware of? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. I don't think I've
I've
even.
definitely noticed a bit of traffic coming from that engine in Australia lately. So I'm not sure globally, but
Just
for my Australian clients, definitely there's been a bit of a resurgence there for sure.
interesting, interesting. I haven't seen it in any of my client accounts, but yeah, maybe it's just maybe it's just Australia. Who knows? I don't know.
I wouldn't even know what the
Yeah, it's
DuckDuckGo homepage looked like at the moment. I'm kind of tempted just to bring it up, just to have a look, but but I won't do that because a lot of people will be listening to this, but and won't see anything. But actually, no, I am going to bring it up. DuckDuckGo. Protection, privacy, and peace of mind. Search without
yeah. They
being
just
tracked.
had
So yeah, interesting. It looks
the
pretty.
logo's just a duck, isn't it? It's just a
Yeah,
duck.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
search bar looks really straightforward. I'll see what comes up when I type in Charles Travers.
Oh God, I don't
Oh,
know if I'm
there,
optimized for
there you go.
DuckDuckGo.
Shopify SEO consultant for high
There
SKU
we go.
brands, Charles Travers. You're at the top.
There we go.
Your website is up the very top. So yeah, look, even DuckDuckGo gives good quality results in the right order.
Good to know that I'm visible. Um, yeah, actually, we're talking about. I've been kind of. It's interesting how results are changing with like LLMs like ChatGPT. Like one of the best phrases that I like to use to find out what you know about a brand is like, "What do you know about this brand?" And I do that with my own name, and I you start to realize where they're pulling data from. Um, and I think one of the difficult parts, I have one client who unfortunately has, some had some negative press in the past.
Hmm.
Um, and when I typed in like, "What do you know about this brand?" it wasn't too positive. So it's like you've got to. I think the biggest thing that I'm learning from these LLMs is they're not really looking at the data from your website. They're looking at where you're being cited.
Yeah.
So it's important to have that brand presence on different platforms and have that positive digital PR. And I'd recommend to anyone that's kind of watching or listening to go back to that episode with Chris from Linkify and watch that because that's obviously going to help you with building out a really strong digital PR presence for your brand.
I think anyone that asks about link building, I'll just be sending them that episode in general, mainly because I asked every question that I could think of related to backlinks. So, and I don't come from an SEO background, so if you think you're just going to be asking beginner questions, don't worry. I was hitting him with as many kind of beginner questions as I could think of. He was using acronyms that I'd never heard before, and I just thought like, what does that mean? Like, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a really good place to start, especially for the digital PR stuff. And I think, yeah, if any of my clients ever ask about it, I'd just be sending them straight to that kind of podcast. I know it's lengthy, like it's an hour long, but if you've got any questions about backlinks, I don't think you'd have many left after listening to that episode.
Yeah, yeah, and you can always we've got the chapters in the comments, so if you want to skip through to different parts of the interview, you can do that as well. But yeah, no, really great episode that. And I think that is the way forward really for link building. Yes, there are still great ways to build links from things like guest blogs, but that seems to be the natural progression, especially with LLMs as well. You get that additional benefit of, building a strong brand authority, not just a link, but you're actually building, yeah,
We
brand
should we
authority.
should we
And
should we should try it like maybe next month or something, Charles. We should have like a who can like a little head to head, like who can get cited in the most high domain like article or something like that. We need to have a challenge head to head in something soon. So and that would be for our own personal brands. So I think it would be fun to do something like a little series like that that the listeners could listen to, so and share the
yeah,
results too. But yeah, if you think of anything else other than link building, I'm down for that too. But maybe we start with link building. You might have a bit of a head start on me with an SEO background, but I'll claw my way back
nah.
through grit and determination.
Well, I think you'll have a better chance than me up against your Google ads. So,
Hmm.
it's yeah, definitely will be at a disadvantage there, I think. But yeah, it could be an interesting one.
I think too, like business.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Talking about LLM rankings and showing up on the platforms like ChatGPT. One thing that actually I experimented in the week was I set up a Trustpilot account, and I got some reviews from. I asked some of my clients to give me reviews. That's all right. That's all right. I got enough, but it was I actually completely forgot about it. Just Jimmy just ignores me as always. What Well, actually, so a couple of things. One, I would advise that if you can, if you don't have a Trustpilot account, get that set up and see if you can get customers to leave you a review. The other point was I did have some issues with whether it was because it was a brand new Trustpilot account, but my clients were leaving reviews and then they were asking the Trustpilot were asking them to provide documentation to prove that it was like, legitimate review. Um, but the most interesting part was when I went back and did my test of like, what do you know about Charles Travers in ChatGPT in incognito mode? So you're not logged in. It was citing some of those reviews already, and this was literally a day or two later. So, um, yeah, Trustpilot definitely seems to be one of those platforms, websites that they're pulling data from. Um, yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a really good idea. And that's probably one of the reasons why mine was potentially getting flagged up because I was asking, all of my clients and people that I know to leave me a. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good excuse that one. Good stuff. I didn't see that, no. Hmm. Yeah, fair play. I know that even Pushout, they have an email function, although it's not the. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, sounds good, guys. Well, yeah. Um, if you want to follow us, find us. It's Shopify Marketing Secrets on Facebook. And Jimmy, any final words before we wrap things up?